Hello, everyone. Sorry about the delay. Welcome back to the channel. I don't know. Let me know in the chat if we are echoing at all, because for whatever reason, I guess eBay and StreamYard have teamed up to maybe put in some updates here, but it's showing us twice in the StreamYard feed, and it's echoing, and so hopefully that's not the case. So if you guys hear me fine. Um, Okay, Tommy says no to something. So let me know, someone, at least let me know if you can hear me okay. I'd appreciate that. If not, then I don't know what we're going to do, but maybe I'll hold up signs for you guys while I talk. So don't do that. So yeah, guys, weird weekend for sales.
There's no echo.
Okay. Okay. So I've had to I turned our volume off all the way. It doesn't matter anyway. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to talk and you can hear yourself echo. And it's like, okay, this is not going to happen for over an hour. I can tell you that. So I don't know what happened with this live stream. But when I checked in earlier, it didn't have this that's showing up twice. But that being said, as long as you guys can hear me, that's really all that matters here. So, as I was saying, weird weekend. You guys know on Friday we're just killing it with sales, $1,100 day, followed up by like a 300 some odd day, and then just nothing on Sunday and crickets. And that's actually the entire weekend on the other account.
Yeah, not one sale
Yeah.
on Hot Desert Deals until 10 p.m. on Sunday.
Right. And what I did was I kind of Sunday was kind of a recovery day. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm sure many of you have dealt with like long tournaments and things like that, or things of that nature where you're just your mind is focused 100% for like 12 hours straight. The next day you feel like you got hit by a truck, and that's kind of how I felt. But nonetheless, I wasn't going to take Sunday off, especially with no sales. I wasn't going to sit back and just wait. So the goal for me was, okay, what things can I do to improve my situation? And so around Sunday afternoon sometime, I started kind of tweaking with things. Started off by messing with some of these cases behind me. Started going through, and what I did was, and I don't usually do this on Sunday, but I did an entire store end item sell similar. Wasn't making sales anyway, so why not? What was what was it going to hurt? I had plenty of listings to work with, and that seemed to kind of do the trick. I went back in and I did the other account, but it's also just going in and looking at your prices, going in and looking at just your generally your listings in general. Your photos look okay. Are your titles halfway decent? I got to tell you, we made the video about the fact that I need your help selling these cases. I had a mistake that I made with just the title, some of you guys pointed out. So, I try to do the best that I can, but I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. And I'm going to have lazy days where I see a listing that's sold many times. Maybe it has a bad title. I'm not thinking about that. I'm piggybacking off the listing. And it's one of those things that I'll still make sales sometimes with even bad titles because the item is in demand. And I guess what got me to make the title for this video was, I continue to see people, say that they're getting slow sales, and they don't really tell the entire story. They don't, put in the post, well, here's what I've done. These are all the things that I've done to try to remedy my situation. Here's what I'm selling. I mean, we got a lot of people that sometimes in this live stream will, say, hey, my sales haven't sold anything in 2 days, or it's been slow 3 months, but we don't have any idea what you're selling. And it's I don't know if that's kind of an intentional thing or maybe just an unintentional thing, but it's very important to have that information because, um, if you just come out and say, I'm not making sales, that really doesn't mean a whole lot, because if I'm selling used napkins on eBay, well, I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of sales. If you're selling iPhones and you say that same statement, well, chances are something's very, very wrong. Please, I want to know. I want to see, the purpose of the channel is to help you guys. I don't have all the answer, but we've gathered a great community of people who might. or might have ideas to try. And certainly, I rely on each and every one of you guys to help me brainstorm through this issue. I want sales to be good for everyone, but I think all of our situations are different. Mine have seemed to normalize, but it's not because I kind of sat back and said to myself, well, Sunday's a bad day. I'm just going to, sit back and let it correct itself. I'm going to take some proactive actions here. And maybe that means to change my markdown sales. So what we did was on Hot Desert Deals, we went in and I have all my albums listed now. All my albums that I have, because I thought I had another tote of them. I don't. So that's it. I have like almost 300 items, 300 albums in that store. And I jacked up the price by 30%, hit it with a 40% markdown sale specific to the albums. And we woke up this morning, had two albums sell. I mean, that's a start, right? At some point, I'm going to take those albums and I'm going to go in and lot them out by genre, country music, rock music, classicals, whatever. But I think there's still value there, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But doesn't mean I'm going to set it and forget it. And these are things that you can do with really any category you have. You can go in and when you're doing your markdown sale, you can go in and search. So I have everything marked as every album is LP in the title. So I'll go in and type a search LP, and it pulled down all 200 some odd albums, and I was able to select them all and just make a markdown sale just for that. So it's a very good tool. So, look at your situation and just try different things. It could be that you're not promoting. That might be the problem. And if you're not promoting, you need to be the best price because you're going to be buried in best match search if you're not promoting most of your listings. And you're going to have a segment of the population that will sort the listings by price. And you want to make sure if you're not getting the impressions because you're not on page one on a best match search, at least make sure you're high up on page one on a lowest price listing search. So I want your thoughts, your feedback. But of course, the purpose of this program and this channel is to help others. And if you have any questions, your comments, please put them in the chat. If you're watching us after the fact and just couldn't make it this time, that's cool. We do these twice a week, and it's hard to imagine many people making every single one. But please comment down below after the fact, and I'll try to reply, or someone else will try to reply to your comment or question. But no matter how you are watching us on this live stream, please hit the like button. It's for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's just we put it out there, but you're going to get a sale in the next 24 hours if you hit that that like button. So please do that. I'd appreciate that.
Okay, before we get started,
yeah,
we have a lot of trolls coming on for some reason.
I love it.
And so I just need to have the mods stay vigilant.
Well, I want to
get these guys out of here. You're going to see them.
Oh, I
just
see that.
read them. Kina, thank you for getting out the ones that I didn't see.
Yeah. There's always going to be trolls out there.
Yeah.
And, you can tell, if they were actually making sales, if they actually have an eBay store, they'd be busy, putting together, maybe their shipments for tomorrow or whatever, but they have nothing else better to do than to jump on the live stream and mess with people. So, I'm trying to figure out, watching YouTube for eBay content, watching all these channels, talk about slow sales and stuff. It's the summer, guys. People are going to be out and about doing things, not focused on buying from you or me.
And attending graduations. Graduation season is here.
That, please.
And
don't say that, because you know what? I was going to say
it's real.
It's not real. There's let me put it this way. There's a channel that put out a little thing saying, oh, guys, you're not going to get sales this weekend because graduation. I'm like, come on. When was the last time you went to a graduation ceremony?
Just because we're not going to a graduation ceremony, both of our our granddaughter has graduated from pre-K.
Yes, I get it.
Our nieces just because we're not able to go doesn't mean that they're not happening.
Right, but it doesn't eliminate someone's want or need to buy an item off of eBay. So if I'm going to a graduation ceremony on a Friday night and I'm going to be gone for 2 to 3 hours and I still need that toilet because I can't make the one I have work, guess what? I'm going to be buying it before or afterwards. But it's not like it's Thanksgiving and everyone's sitting down and having a Thanksgiving dinner away from the computer. There's a segment of the population that will be doing graduation, but to say that, okay, guys, your sales are going to be slow this weekend, I really hope for a strong weekend because not only for me, for you guys. Well, no, but it's I like to debunk things like that. I know that I'm probably the last one to get up here and say, well, certain things, don't cause slowdowns because I've been on this channel saying, hey guys, this might happen because of this and that and the other thing. But I mean, you got to give me more than graduation. I just think that it's not like a big thing where everyone's going. Some people are going, but it's not. People have their cell phones out. I mean, if you've been sitting around at a graduation waiting for the commencement to arrive, and you're on your cell phone, you'll be buying stuff. Waiting for.
Nobody goes on eBay while we're waiting for the bride and groom to walk down the aisle. Just not happening.
Well, that's different, a wedding. But anybody who's been to a graduation knows it ain't a fast thing, and you're waiting for your loved one to walk up the aisle and get their deal. And guess what? You're not. You're going to be sitting there bored with your phone, and I just don't think that's a thing. Well, I want to know what you guys think, but there's many reasons.
Small percentage.
There's many reasons for summer slowdown. I think that's probably one small reason, but I think the bigger reason is, look, it's nice outside. The weather's nice this time of year. This is the time people get together, get out and about. They're not thinking about things to buy. They're thinking about just meeting Aunt Thelma at the beach or whatever. And
I want to go to the beach with Aunt Thelma.
I know. We just got to find an Aunt Thelma and you can go. So that's me on my soapbox, guys. And I just want to thank each and every one of you guys who wish me well. I played in the World Series of Poker. Played in that yesterday, actually Saturday. It seems like yesterday everything like meshes together. We made the money, but we made a small error, and that's why we got knocked out.
Me. It was you.
Yeah, me as in me, we, so that is what it is. So we had some fun, and the fact that you guys kind of cheered me on was kind of cool.
Personalities.
I do. I talk to myself at the poker table and they look at me like I'm crazy. So Joshua Tuari says, recently found some issues with international shipping. UPS standard Canada defaults to worldwide. This is your only additional shipping method. It'll disable eBay International for all countries. And then Joshua goes on to say, eBay also provides no way to easily bulk edit only items which are excluded from international shipping. Adding your own carriers will disable eBay's shipping program. That part's true. Joshua says, awful if you have a very large store with only a few items which are excluded from eBay's international program and only need to offer different carriers for a few excluded items. So now, Joshua, if you have certain items that you want to exclude, in fact, what you will probably want to do is go into your current shipping policies and go in and click exclude the certain countries you don't want to ship to. Now, you will want to have, if you're using eBay's international shipping program, you need to have that still selected as no international shipping for each and every shipping policy that's attached to listings you want in that program. But you can still go in where it says excluded and go exclude countries that maybe you don't want to deal with. And it may require you to create separate shipping policies for, let's say, I have listings that I can't ship to Europe, but I also have shipping listings that I want to ship around the world. And how do I balance that? That's going to require you to make two separate shipping policies. And that's whether you use international shipping or if you don't. If you have it, if you're opting out like I do, and I have international shipping selected, I have separate shipping policies for every possible scenario. Because I've learned that they will take your listings down if you don't have, um, you know, if you don't meet certain guidelines. Like you got to know seems like you got to know every item that eBay prohibits to, say, Europe. And that's just kind of impossible to me. And I thought that this initially that eBay's international shipping program was going to kind of do that work for you. So if you had a listing where, let's say, it wasn't available to Europe, then they'd receive the item and send it back because they couldn't process it or whatever. But that isn't the case. So it may be a situation where they do send it back, or they hit you with enough of these complaints, or not complaints, but warnings from eBay, that eventually you'll not be able to use that program anymore if you have too many items that are prohibited. Never heard of anyone losing that privilege yet, or we'll call it a privilege, or that function yet. But I did read that there's like 3 or 4 things that eBay wants you to police, and uh, so it's still a lot like the GSP that we're used to. We still got to know what things could ship to certain countries. That part, I guess, hasn't changed. But what I still like about the program is once you do finally get a successful sale to Europe or any country out there, that they're going to handle the return. So again, I'm going to switch over once I stop hearing that people are having problems with that particular feature. All right, hopefully that answered your question though on that. So Flipping Con Marco says, "Happy Motivation Monday, FAE fam." Hey, John and Jenna, hopefully everyone had a great weekend. I'm flying to Vegas this weekend. Awesome. Going to try to source and check out the yard sales out there. Any tips? Check out the yard sale app. That is our go-to thing. And there's 3 areas that I kind of focus on when I'm looking at places to go. I try to avoid the closer to the center of Las Vegas as possible. You find that the better communities, I guess, are kind of it's like a letter C that surrounds the city of Las Vegas. And I would avoid the eastern side and the center part of town, and just look for clusters. And just there's community yard sales. I guess it's been kind of hit and miss for us out here with community yard sales. But whatever area gives you the most bang for your buck, and you're driving around, you want to just have it as condensed as possible, where you hit as many yard sales out here. And I'm sure it's the same whether you're out in any other metropolitan area. Brian H says, "Hello, John and Jenna. Hope John is doing good in the poker tourney." I'm out.
He did, but he's out.
I'm out. I'm here with you guys. It would have been one of those things where if I made it to Monday, that's like big time. I think first place was $500,000. But didn't make it that far. Mark Suddick says,
"We're here."
"Hi, John and Jenna. Also, all sellers. I had a great sales weekend with a high number of sales. Will John Poker Champ tell us all about the poker tournament? How much money did you win?" I bought it for 300. Now, imagine there was 8,500 people in the flight. So the flight of the tournament that I was in. I had to navigate through 7,000 of those people just to get paid. It was a 4-flight deal with about 24,000 entrants total. So we had the most people on our flight to deal with because it was the last day. And basically, a $300 buy-in turned into like $480. That was the lowest cash point available. But as people survived longer, like if you got into Sunday and into Monday, it got into the thousands of dollars. But you know what? Didn't lose anything. Had a lot of good experience and had a good time. So that's all that matters. Sandra says, "Hi, Jen and John. Since last Monday, my sales have been kicking ass.
Woo!
Very busy and listing like crazy. New sourcing venue is the reason." And that's it.
That's right.
The key word in that whole sentence was new. New. You did something new, whether it was your sourcing, whether it was the way you are presenting your items. Maybe you're finally promoting for the first time. Maybe you're starting to do markdown sales, or maybe you're putting in a new coupon. The fact is that you did something different. And sometimes it's going to not be the first time. You're going to do something different multiple times until you finally find something that works for you. And that's what we've done. And that's really worked for us. Jennifer V says, "Hello from Virginia." Well, hey, Jennifer, thanks for being here. Archie's here. He dropped in to say
PTS
hi.
treasures.
PTS Treasures is in the house. Thanks for being here. Um, Picky Ricky. P. Rick is in the house. We got Ed, the reselling writer, our buddy Mike Caparelli. Hi, Jenna
Everybody's our
and Jen.
buddy.
Well, everyone's our buddy, but Ed's our buddy. But Mike, he's here with us. And hi, Jenna and family. I didn't say hi to John because I'm really hoping he is still playing cards. Man's got a dream after all. Anyway, hope everyone is doing well. My sales have been really good. That's awesome to hear. There's more. We're in Vegas. There's going to be more poker tournaments. I've played poker for many, many years. So that's one of the things. I was telling a friend of mine, I said, I'm pretty good at a lot of things, but I'm not a master of anything. So I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that get in front of the camera and say, well, I know all the answers. This is the way I do it. And if you're not doing it, you're going to fail. That's never something you're going to hear from me. Been kind of perturbed a little bit with the YouTube community, a little bit in the sense, not all YouTubers. There's a lot of quality YouTubers that don't do this, but just I think your time is almost as valuable as your money. So the idea that YouTubers ask you, hey, buy this for me. Well, not buy this for me, but send me money for, the good content or for my Patreon or this, that, the other thing. And also your time is important. So if you're coming out and saying, okay, here's what my video is about, you should be talking about it like right away, at least hint a little bit at it. But when you create content and there's nothing there, not even really about what your title is, that's clicky, right? Clickbait. And I've been seeing some videos lately of multiple YouTubers, and it's kind of like that. And I can just imagine the average person just trying to get information, how frustrating that can be. So I'm known to put out some thumbnails that kind of get people to click, but at the same time, I know that I need to get to the point, like not these live streams that I never get to the point because I'm just talking in circles. But I'm sure other people feel that way,
Oh my
and
God.
but at least I have self-awareness, right? I think that's half the battle, right? I could sit here and deny, no, I'm not long-winded. Yeah, that would be like, okay. So that's just who I am, guys. I like to talk, but I just because I have a lot of things to say, and I'm sure you guys are tuning in because I think some of you want to hear what's on my mind. So that's it. Leonard says, hello from New Hampshire. Anyone having sign-in issues? Got 5 messages, said I signed in from a different location. Then it said, oops on us, please check back later. I find that kind of happens when you refresh your browser. Go in and refresh your cookies and all that stuff. I think it's funny though. Sometimes you'll see that okay, you go through, delete a few items, make a few offers, and then go click on your messages, and it's like, oh, we got to verify that you are who you are. I mean, never mind, you just deleted a bunch of items and sent some offers, but now you're looking at your messages. We have to throw the captcha at you to find out if you can identify these castles or whatever. Callie Deb says, hi, John and Jenna chat. Hope you all had a great weekend.
Yes.
I made the best of it. It was tiresome. I mean, yesterday I had no motivation at all. I didn't want to do anything, and that's just the honest truth. I'd like to say I was still tired from Saturday, but I was found myself just sitting here in front of the computer going, I know I want to get some things done, but I'm just not in the mood right now. I just wasn't in the mood. It's really weird. It's not like me. Uh, Woke up this morning, felt a lot more drive to get stuff done. But anybody ever feel that way? You just like, I ain't feeling it today. That's kind of how it was for me. Um, let's see. We got Tommy in the house. Tommy Bernard says, anytime there's any sort of update, eBay browser plugin, it makes the website sign back in, not a big deal or problem. Yeah, I just know that you just navigate around it, right? Whatever the problem you encounter, as long as it's not interfering with your ability to list or take care of business, then it might be an annoyance. It might take you through an extra screen or two, but at the end of the day, just navigate through it. No one designed. $10 says John fell asleep when I was late for the live. No, I
No,
wasn't asleep at all.
it was scrambling. Oh, I mean, He's trying to turn lights on, shave
Well,
his
that's not
face.
it. That's not all
Yes.
it. That's not all it. Okay, let me tell you. This company actually hit me up back in January, wanted to be a sponsor to the
Oh,
channel. And I'm like, no, 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 no. The idea of, Wish.com or whatever or equivalent, some site wanting to peddle their goods, it's not something I'm going to bring to my audience. Okay. So I declined and turned them down. A month later, they're advertising on the Super Bowl, and I'm like, oh, wow, what did I do? But it's not about um, but I decided to order some stuff through Temu, Temu, and some Temu, whatever. Um, Other people have even asked me before, do you think the emergence of this website is going to cause, eBay's decline because people are buying less off of eBay and more from this company or this site? So we tried it. They get you really like thinking, wow, it's a good deal. And takes forever to get the stuff. I ordered some what I thought were some cool shirts, right? Really missed size. I'm like, okay, well, this is going back. I thought, wow, you're gonna give me 40 razor blades for $6 and like the razor. You can't even get the handle on it.
on the
It's just
handle.
ridiculous. So it's like I've never. I mean, you have to like crack the code to get this thing to work. It's like,
And of course, it doesn't come with any directions.
well, I mean, you need a direction
I
to get a
know.
damn razor blade on a handle, but it's like there's no way that this was made for this. We've tried every angle. We tried to even go,
Upside down, right side up.
even put the blade in suicide mode. It didn't work. So I don't know, guys. It's uh, just be careful if you're ordering from that site. It's a good thing they have free returns because that stuff's not going to stay. So I don't know how we got to that, but James Holloway's in the house. So what time is it?
It's flipping
It's time to make some sales. It's time to get motivated is what it is. I'm glad that we're doing this today and not yesterday because I'm much more motivated than I was yesterday. That's for sure. Sherman Volkman says, I was just listing on eBay, and in the listing in a couple of the drop downs is my name and some of my credit card info as part of these drop downs.
What?
That's weird. Wow.
I would sign out and sign back in.
Uh, and this guy is reporting that we had some difficulties. That's me. And then Tommy said for that, take credit cards out of autofill. So that's definitely something you should maybe go clear your browser. You're going and just every once in a while, it's a good idea to do that anyway. Sometimes you deal with site issues, and by clearing your browser, going and clearing out your cookies and cache, that can help sometimes. Lawrence Tropics' question: when I have a 20% sale and I send out offers on items, how can I stop people from also using the 20% plus their low offer? So if you're doing a markdown sale, what's happening? Let's say you have an item for $100 for, let's just say for math's sake here, $100 to your buyer, it's going to come off as 80. So it should show up as the $100 should have like a line through it, like, wow, this is what it would have been. But due to this 20% off sale, you're only paying $80. Well, that's what the buyer's basically looking at, and that's what offer you're taking when you're making an offer to Watcher. That's the amount that eBay is asking you to discount further. Um, there's really no way to do that. There's no way to do that. Maybe do like what some others have done, and I did on the other account. We were doing a 40% markdown on the albums. Well, we upped the price by 30% and then hit it with a 40% sale. Maybe that's the key. Maybe you want to be promoting or using the markdown sale at 10% if you don't want to bump up your prices in bulk. And then that'll give you room to add the other 10% to a watcher, that type of thing. But there's no way to block it. Maya Koyoma, sorry, I butcher names all the time. It's nothing personal. Sure, this is maybe accidentally copied in there from your browser, or if you have a card info saved. I have card info saved on I think it's the what do they call it, the keychain program. It kind of holds that information in the background, and I've never seen anything like that before. Chastity Grant's in the house. Says, hello, all. I'm going to listen while I list. Good weekend sales, so I got to get some new listings up. Yeah, get those, replenish the stock. And I think sometimes, we make a lot of good sales and like, where's the rest of the sales? And it's because we don't replenish the stock the way we should. Dave Harrington says, "Sup, John? Thanks for being here." And then Cassandra's saying it sounds like we're underwater. So
That was
hopefully,
at 3:04.
I know,
Are
but
we still underwater?
well, we'd
I
have
will
drowned
see
by
you
now. Bearded PokeTuber says, "Hey y'all, thanks for being here." John9965 says, "Hi, both watching live for the first time here in the UK." Well, welcome to the channel, John. We like new viewers. Feel free, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put that in the chat.
Yeah, Nick says, yes, we're still underwater.
Really? Maybe you want to go and listen to the other room, see if we sound. We have Biff. We'll try to get that corrected. Biff Balko says, "Auction professor claimed the weekend was off because of a graduation weekend for many." Well, from what I gathered, he was saying that it's coming up this weekend. We should expect slow sales. And I don't recall. I think a lot of schools, they have graduations different times. West Coast might have different graduation dates than East Coast. Anywhere in between. I didn't know that Father's Day weekend was a graduation weekend. I think Father's Day weekend's coming up, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, look, I guess we can look for reasons why our items aren't selling. I'd rather just get in front of those excuses and say, you know what, I'm going to make the sales regardless, right? I'm not going to, I come out here many times and said, look, summer slowdown is a thing, and it is a thing. And to deny the obvious, for a period of time, I would be wrong to do. Historically, it is a thing. But, I made those videos and put topics in the live to start getting people ahead of it, start thinking about how can we beat whatever is coming. And if you're selling the same old thing that maybe sold 3 years ago, but you're waiting for that same level of, you're waiting for that market to be there when it's not anymore, then it's going to be a problem. And you got to do like Sandra did and find new things to sell or make changes in order to get ahead of it. Ping G's here with us. Thanks for being here, Ping. Awesome. JR says slow except for one day last week. How does it sound?
You're underwater.
Am I underwater?
It's not terrible.
Well, we're just going to try to make the best of it.
We're going to have to figure out this setup.
Literally, it says this is
something's wrong.
Let's see here, because I can't really be echo cancellation is on. Okay, well that didn't happen earlier, but nonetheless, we're gonna just keep doing the best we can.
Sorry, guys. We'll fix it for next time.
It has to be a glitch, because when I came on earlier, it didn't have the two windows. It's showing literally like I have a guest that's waiting to join.
It sounds like you're singing in techno. No one design says.
Yeah. Maybe I can start singing now. You guys will.
Go ahead, go for it.
Yeah. No, that's not gonna happen.
Everybody can hear what I have to put up with.
So Ed says I had pretty good sales, 5 on eBay and 2 on Posh. My ASP was give or take $60. Pretty happy about it. So that's good.
One item on Posh.
Yeah. You got to be cross-posting. If you're not cross-posting, look, if you're having slow sales, I can't blanket everyone with a statement, but if you're having slow sales and you've tried everything you can do with the traffic that eBay is giving you, then it is a very, very good idea to look into cross-posting to Poshmark for clothing, shoes, accessories, things like that. Yeah, they do home appliances and stuff, but that's what the focus of Posh really is. Mercari for really everything else, Etsy for crafts, stuff like that. And there's others as well. But get your stuff out in front of others. And I don't care what program you use. You can use Prime Lister like we do, or you can use any of the other ones as well. And just make sure you're just trying to do something different. Kimberly Sweet says, which shipping do you use? One price or adjustable? What's the difference? How does the adjustable shipping work? So I use, for most listings, we use calculated. Okay, so the calculated listings or the calculated shipping will take the exact weight and dimensions that you've put in the listing, and depending on where they're at, where their zip code is, they'll be quoted when they first click on the item. It'll say it's $10 plus $8.95 shipping. Well, that shipping is going to be different for somebody else who's much farther away from you. If you have a fixed price like these football cases, we actually sold now 2 of them after I made some adjustments yesterday, and 3 basketball cases. Well, on the football, I decided to go with the $15 flat shipping rate. So for some people who buy it close to me, it's going to cost like $12 to ship. And what I noticed for a couple that I sold on the East Coast, it was like $16, $17. So I lost a couple bucks on shipping, but
But
you
it will
gain some.
balance
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of the difference there. Um, let's see.
No,
Mr.
no, no.
No Parties, have you tried arbitrage? That's what we're doing. Richard Sipnewski, sorry, sweating it out on the Stairmaster listing items in eBay and listening to the king and queen of the YouTube stream.
Aw,
Who says real men can't multitask? There you
that's
go.
right. Stairmaster
I need a
and
lot of that.
listing and listening. My goodness.
I need a little Stairmaster in my life, that's for sure. But good for you for doing that. I think that's one of the things a lot of us resellers overlook is the need to be active and to keep ourselves in good physical condition. So I need to do more of that myself. No one designs says Kimberly calculated shipping. You have to be spot on, or you pay the overage flat shipping, and you can set it to anything. Um, I think it's the opposite. I think if you have flat shipping, like you can get hit with, someone in Puerto Rico wants your item, and like from California or Nevada, that's a big expense as compared to shipping it to like Oregon, right? Um, so you win and lose with the flat. Calculated, what I like to do with a lot of listings is calculated plus $1. That way you're never going to lose on that deal. Uh, Roman's in the house. Tommy's title for his upcoming YouTube video is "I am done" with all capital letters and crying emojis on the thumbnail. Yeah, I think it's just too much. I mean, look, the idea of this channel, I can only speak for this channel, is to help people. It's not to fool people. It's not to trick people. It's not to see that how many people can I get looking at my video for views. I've been accused of that before. And I guess it's easy to say, okay, well, all you YouTubers are alike, are the same. You're just doing this for the money. Um, money does become a part of the business. It is a business, a part of the business now. And I think as you start making money on this platform, it becomes like, wow, I can really make a lot of money here. But you're forgetting about your audience who are here to learn. If you're making it about just clickbait to get people to look, and they're not finding what you've advertised, I just think you're hurting your channel. Uh, and if I will promise you this, I will put something in the thumbnail that is relevant to what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get you guys to click. It just bothers me. It doesn't sit well with me. It's not good for the community. Um, Tommy Bernard says, Cody, did you get hacked on Facebook? Your name sent me a message, but it didn't sound like you. I don't know. Hopefully that didn't happen. But Tony Resell says, what's up, everyone? Thanks for being here, Tony. Maya says, I've been doing way more arbitrage lately than thrifting. Raising my ASP is the way out to go, like John and Jenna found out. Yeah, it's the way to go. Look, there's nothing saying you can't sell $5 and $10 items on eBay. There's thousands upon thousands of those kind of items selling right now as we speak. But as a way to earn a living, you're going to have a huge store. You're going to have a huge home or warehouse or storage facility to hold all this stuff. And if you don't have that situation, you're going to have to, you're probably going to have to rule that out for now. You know, we have between two of our stores, we have less than 1,000 items, and we make it work. If you're doing this on the side and you don't mind making $20 here, $100 there, and it's kind of supplementing what you already do, maybe it just helps your 9 to 5, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you're trying to make this work as a full-time thing, what worked a few years ago is probably not going to work now. And you got to be willing to make the changes, the tough decision to sell things you didn't want to sell before. No Design says, John, if you talk without breathing, the sound is smooth. Just an observation. Sorry.
Hold your breath. Don't go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. There's a lot of trolls here.
There were a lot. You should have seen when you first started.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. I get the trolls here. I don't know what. what about it is,
Just keep
but
going.
we're just banning as we go. So, Guy Guru, I know he's not a troll. Hey guys, I had one of the best weekends ever in sales. Feels almost like Q4, almost.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I mean,
Good.
um, I can tell you this. I don't know if my sales or our sales are going to be any better in Q4. I just think um, we found a formula that's keeping us consistent. If that makes sense. We're doing just as well as we did 2 months ago, and I mean, it'd be great if we could do more, but I'm fine with where we're at right now.
Right.
Um,
Right. But you don't want to stay stagnant
no, no,
where we
no,
are.
no, 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 no. But I'm
I'd
saying,
love to be able to get off all of the crap on my store that we've been
yeah,
just trying to sell and put more of the newer items up that we're
yeah.
doing now.
So right now we're getting the crap we have on hand, listed on that other account. Kind of blowing it out, but we're still being mindful of what we're into it for, which is not a whole lot anyway. And then my account, we're just maximizing whatever we can, buying stuff for 5, selling it for 80, that type of thing. That's the sweet spot right there. Mad Hatter's Boutique says sales are still good and steady over here. Shipped 21 items for the weekend, Monday morning sales. Delisted, sell similar 400 items and sold 6 of them. Got to work that eBay. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are still out there saying there's nothing to the end items that's similar. If you're having slow sales and you feel that way, I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't get one sale on Hot Desert Deals until he did that last night at 10 o'clock at night. And then all of a sudden I woke up and had two sales. So there is some kind of, it works somehow, some way. So those people obviously aren't doing something right.
Yeah. And then Kelly Deb says eBay finally came back for me over the weekend. I had sales on all 4 platforms. Posh is cooking, and I sell just about everything on Posh that I do on eBay except for items over 5 pounds. Yeah, that's good to say. Remember, when you're selling items on Poshmark, the buyer is buying that label up to, it's like a flat 5-pound label. Even if your item is a pound, it's a 5-pound label, which gives you room to kind of use heavier boxes, sturdier shipping materials. But if they start to bundle, be very careful because if it goes over 10, there's not even an option to pay for a more expensive label over 10. Mad Hatter's Boutique says, John, have you heard or played 5, 10, 20 bounty game or 10, 10, 20 different buy-ins? Like holding with more ways than win or lose. Yeah, those are cash games. This was more of a tournament format. So we do play cash games and stuff when we have like friends. We all go to the casino and hang out and like that kind of thing.
We
But
did that Friday.
yeah. So, well, we didn't play poker. We hit the table and stuff.
Yeah.
But Tommy says reselling is dead. Get your applications for Bob's Big Boy. They have those out on the East Coast, huh? I love Bob's Big Boy. Gotta love the Bob's blue cheese
They
dressing.
closed down all of those out
Yeah.
on the West Coast.
Yeah. Guy Guru says they've shut down all the Bob's Big Boys. No, there's a Bob's in California,
Where?
in Calamasa.
Are you sure it's still there?
100%. And there's also one in Moreno Valley where we went to that one before too. So
I think that
I
one
know they have the
turned
good
into
dressing. I know where to go.
it turned into Black Bears something.
Well, as long as they have good dressing, I don't care. Yasmin Williams says, question, when you first began your reselling or begun your reselling business, what were your average sales a day? Well, I mean, I've been reselling since like 2002, and it was always a part-time thing. So I do it for a couple months here and there. I would go to the swap meet, buy used electronics or a lot of customer return electronics at that time. And I was selling that kind of stuff, making a little bit here and there, and then I'd stop for months because when you have kids, that kind of takes precedence. You still have the 9 to 5 you have to deal with. And for me, it's been kind of hit and miss off and on. But when I went full time back in 2019, we just started buying liquidation. And at that time, the first few months of going full time, we had some $20,000-$25,000 months. It was really, really good. The liquidation was really, really good. And then things started to change with the liquidation, the quality of liquidation that we were able to get over the years, and really come down. So a $10,000 month is kind of on average like $10,000-$11,000 is what it's been. Now, last year was just a horrible disaster. We didn't hit that mark 1 month. Um, and it took a lot of the money that we had saved, kind of zapped a lot of it. So um, I got to tell you guys, I was thinking about this earlier. If you're contemplating leaving your full-time job to resell, I would highly, highly consider not. And unless you're not making much to begin with on your 9 to 5, and the time you're spending, all right, the time you're spending can be better spent with your, because look, if you can make $20 an hour as a reseller, you're going to be better off doing this full time. But if you're making 25, 30 bucks an hour plus at your full-time job, just do it part-time. That's probably the best way to do it. Uh, Lisa in the house. Thanks for being here, Lisa. Hit that thumbs up button. I'd appreciate it. We have 150 people watching right now. So if you can hit that like button, you're going to get your sale here in the next 24 hours. I don't know how it works, but it just does. TikTok's in the house says trolls have no life. Yeah, they don't. They just like, you know what? I have nothing better to do. There's nothing on TV. So let's go and find a random eBay YouTuber who's doing a live right now, and let's just say a bunch of crap. It's kind of what it is. Um, let's see. No, it wasn't about the nap. I wasn't late because of a nap. Promise me. I could use a nap, but it wasn't. It was, the last hour before the live started, it was like, okay, I want to list one more item. Then I got a phone call from a friend, was talking to that friend, and is like, okay, well, I'm still going to try to finish this listing, and then I'm going to get out here and get ready for the live. And by the time I sat down in this chair, it's like, oh crap, it's already time to begin. It doesn't happen often. We're usually punctual and on time. So um, Gail says, happy Monday, John and Jenna. Well, thank you for being here, Gail. Awesome that you're here. Dixie Flipper's in the house. Hi, John and Jenna from St. George, Utah. And I believe that is Mike, if I'm not mistaken. Dixie Flipper. Biff Boffel says, my sales have been off since April 2nd. I've at a new niche last week. I'm still all in on collectibles, though. The toilet seat market here is dead. Yeah, we still have some in stock, but yeah, if someone needs it, hopefully they'll find ours. That's for sure. Anytime Picker says my trolls are still asleep. No one design says without the trolls, the world would be a boring place. We need someone to point and laugh at. Yeah, but we have insights in the house. Thanks for being here with the question. Great content. How many items do you list per day to reach your selling goals in your 240 plus item store? Does end sell similar count towards your daily listing goals? I mean, really, we're at about 5 to 10 a day on this main account. And I was thinking is like, the goal would be to ramp up the production, and I could, and I that's the next step is to get more stuff listed. But there's a lot that goes into when you're dealing with customer return electronics. So everything is staged, ready to as my ready to list pile. That's when I get it home from where I pick the stuff up from. And so now I get the box. I have to check everything out, look the manual, make sure that all the pieces are there, all the accessories are there. Because we're doing a lot of different things, I have to learn pretty much what is this and what does it do, and just to make sure when I plug it in, it's somewhat functional as described as it's supposed to do. Now, I'm not going to go through all the steps and to use the item and or to check all features, but just to be able to do that, stage everything, meaning that I'm going to set it up for photos, take a bunch of different types of photos, then go back in, and I like to do this is the way I like to do it. I go back in and I find the listing that I've drafted. A lot of times I'll have the draft already prepared because I know what I'm picking up the day before, and I'll just go in and based on what I've seen now, I have a better idea of the condition of the item to better classify whether it's used, open box, new, that type of thing, or even parts or repair. And then so I just work my listing that way. So it is a slower process, but it works for me. Now, as far as the end items still similar, I believe in eBay's eyes, it's the activity. But there's no real need to absolutely list every day. But I do believe that the end item still similar does give eBay the attention that they're hoping and looking for. Picky Ricky says, I can see who has timed out and what they said, but I don't understand why it said they are trolling. Yeah, we removed some of those folks, by the
Yeah,
way.
they were just being very inappropriate.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those weddings. Get a lot of people that get married. Your sales are just going to tank.
You're
It's
you're shaking every time you pound something on the table
good because I'm
because he's
I'm against all weddings. It's going to hurt our sales. Um, the Tommy Bernard podcast is there is a pattern with slow sales in YouTube. So the person spends more time making YouTube videos than working on the business. Yeah. I get to the point where I was telling Jenna, I said, maybe, I should put out content every day. But it's like, where does the time come from? It's like I get up in the morning and I literally spend 2 to 3 hours sourcing a day. That's a lot of my time goes. Uh, you know, the process I told you about, this, that, and other thing. Videos, when you're making videos, it's unless you're doing a no edit video. And look, you guys don't want to see me blunder and stuff. You guys just don't. It's to me, it's about creating the best content that I can. And so maybe that's not a thing, videos every day. But I do agree that at some point, it's like you're seeing certain channels, they start looking at YouTube as a monetary thing that's going to take them away from reselling. And I think that's kind of the worst thing you can do. You gotta have an eBay account. Okay. If you're going to talk about eBay, you got to be in there in the trenches when you're, selling on eBay and talking about it to people who want to learn, right? You got to be relevant. And you gotta stop making clicky titles and just start helping people. That's just my outlook. There's still a lot of good channels out there, but for me, that's the name of the game. If it's more about money than helping people and being relevant, then you're doing it for the wrong
It's a
reasons.
balance. I mean, you can't be putting out YouTube videos about eBay when, for one, you don't do much reselling on eBay. And I mean, the whole point is to help people
Yeah, help people, and your main goal is to help people
for
through
free.
whatever they're dealing with. Be happy with what YouTube is giving you, because as your channel grows, you're going to get more anyway. And make it about helping others. And maybe it's just a few people that don't do that, or the ones that are going to stay true to that. It's sad though for the ones that don't. Just makes me sad. Jan says, hey everyone, Deltona, Florida here. Thanks for the markdown tip, John. I never thought about marking up 40 and then down 30 to show up better in search. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily going to make it show up better in search, but what it does do is it shows when you are in search and that buyer is looking at, there's this list of items that has met my, let's say, best match search, right? Things catch someone's eye, like, wow, these people are offering a 40% off discount. So, well, let me jump on that, right? So I think there's something to it. Now, does that buyer really know that you marked it up 30? I mean, probably not. Um, but I do think there's some psychological stuff going on there when they see that in a listing versus not seeing that in the listing. Sherman Volkman says you lose the interest of listing when sales are in the dumps. Yeah. Well, for me though, that's where I get motivated, because I start questioning, did I do enough? Have I done enough? I mean, there's days that I'll list, 10 plus items a day, and I think, okay, I kicked butt today and that's good. And there's days that I haven't really done enough. I know I can do more. I know I can do better. And maybe that's partly, maybe that's possibly the thing that is holding you back. Maybe you're just not doing it. I'm not talking about you, Sherman. I'm just saying you as the audience in general. Maybe that's what you need to do, is get more stuff listed. That certainly was a strategy that I took last year. Is my thought was, look, we get as much stuff as I can listed. I had different stuff at that time than I do now, but a lot of stuff listed, 10, 20, 30 items a day, and just keep churning, right? And the sales don't come now. Well, by the time Q4 rolls, I'll have a larger store, and the sales will happen. And that's a mindset, because if you're selling stuff that has a low sell through rate, and you're going to continue to sell that kind of stuff, the only real way to grow is by growing your store. Whereas like a Tommy, he has his shoes and stuff. He doesn't carry more than 300 or 400 items in his store, because its sell-through rate is so high that it just sustains itself. So he's just keeping up with the sales that are happening. So it just really depends on what you're selling to determine which course of action that you take. Because I got to tell you, if I built up a huge store with the type of stuff I'm selling, and it's certainly possible, I would need a warehouse because my sales would be just through the roof. I would have to get help, this, that, and the other thing. You're only going to make as much money as you're able to put into your store. So that means getting more people to help you. You're going to grow, but it just, the type of item you're selling is going to dictate how fast and how much you're going to be able to sell, because of the market. No one Design says, I love graduation holidays. My sales went through the roof. I've never heard that before. I just thought, and I'm surprised you mentioned it, but I've never heard that before. As far as, you got to look out.
It's the same thing.
Graduation's coming.
It's not just, it's a combination of graduations, weddings. People are going now to more so to amusement parks, vacationing.
Yeah.
People are living life.
Right.
And whereas, 3 years ago, nobody was.
But that's what I'm saying. We talked about, here comes the summer slowdown. Some channels, I don't know if they're just commenting to what I said, but they're saying, well, what's your excuse for slow sales in the summertime? Even though they said that, the summer slowdown may have started early this year. It's like, okay, well, which one is it?
No.
Summer slowdown is a thing. So is that a 5% decrease in sales? Is it a 25% decrease in sales? I think a lot of that has to do with the user. The person who's selling can adjust to the market. Whether it's what you're selling or the volume you're putting out there, those are two strategies that you can do right now to maybe help you through the summer, because of all these things that people are doing. Not because it's the summertime, it's just the time that kids are out of school and families are willing or have the time, and they have their spare resources. They're using it on that rather than maybe this extra thing that they saw on eBay. Guy Guru says, yeah, fake sale does work. I do it when times are tough. So this other store we have, when you're dealing with 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 0 sales.
Yeah.
It's time to make those kind of
and
measures.
It's not that I wasn't sending out offers. Like I had, I think over the course of the whole weekend, I probably sent out 20 offers throughout the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like I wasn't sending them. Nobody followed through.
Right. And it's like this. It's not so much, look, I can sit on these albums, but we've had them up for long enough, and it's time to get those moved on from. So like I said, eventually I'm going to just lot them out and put them up. $20, take this lot plus shipping, 30, 40 albums. So someone might be able to resell them or whatever once I do that. Because to me, space is at a premium here. So the more stuff that I source and I get listed, I'm running out of racks to put stuff on. So that's what motivates me so much. But for other people, it's like, look, I need the money. Maybe this is a bad purchase, and I'd rather take whatever I can get from this and put it back into something that I know is going to sell. JRK says people are on their phones all the time, and even at weddings and even at graduations. And if they're on that phone and they get an offer that comes through and it's good enough, look, they're going to take time on their phone and they're going to do it. So I just don't see that a lot of these things as a reason why.
I think it's cumulative.
It is.
It's not
then that should be the message. It's a little of everything going on in the summer.
Yes.
Which is why we call it a summer slowdown. Mad Hatter's Boutique says, if your sales are slow, you either have the wrong product, wrong price, or you're not working eBay with sending offers, posting daily, and shipping one day, 99% of the time. Right. And if you're doing this full time, as far as the shipping one day, there's really no reason why you need any more than one day. I can understand someone that does this part-time, they have to juggle this with their family, their job. But if this is your job, I think you're really hurting yourself a little bit in the algorithm, or people who are looking, when they're looking at that listing and, they like your item, they're considering your item, but yeah, this 3-day handling that's making it so that they receive it like on the 20th. This other guy is able to get it to me by the 17th. That customers do, because I know I consider that. I don't want to buy something because I want it 2 weeks from now. Um, this world that we're in, it's more of I want it now, now, now. And if I can get it sooner, then I'm gonna maybe pay a couple extra bucks to get it sooner. That stranger says got charged an international fee because eBay says SAS registered address in Qatar, even though shipping is to New Hampshire, only $4, but still irked me. Yeah, if your buyer has a registered address internationally and they're just in the United States visiting, or maybe they have a home in the United States, or maybe they're dual citizenship or whatever, and that happens to be a customer that is registered, like in Qatar in this case, you're going to pay a fee every time for international. It sucks, and it really should be based on the shipping address and not the actual person that is buying it. Let's see, Norman's in the house. Hello, I'm back again. Last time I spoke to you, I complained about my sales going to the floor, and I opted out of shipping. 3 days later, my sales are nearly 1,000 a day, so I'm happy about that.
Woohoo!
So that's another thing that I really think is a thing. I don't know why some people are able to opt into eBay's international shipping program and their sales are just fine, where others, like myself, um, opted in and our sales like went down the toilet. No pun intended, the toilet. And so I could have sat back and waited, right? But I'm not interested in waiting. Time is money. If I see I just changed to international shipping, I changed everything to where I have no more international in my shipping policies, and that allows the opt-in to take effect, and that kills my sales. Well, whatever I just did, I'm undoing it. And I think that's helping a lot of people. So if maybe if you're having slow sales and you're just scratching your head trying to figure out why are my sales slow, see if you're opted into international shipping, and do like Norman did, go in and opt out. Opt out. Now, look, opt out for a few days, opt out for a week. If things don't change, go back. What is it going to hurt? But I just think sometimes, we just think that the way to win at eBay is list, list, list. And as far as account maintenance, account health, playing the eBay system, working around glitches, which this is, then I think a lot of people are lost on that or don't be bothered. And you gotta be willing. Now, someone like Tommy is killing it. You don't need to do anything. Just keep doing what you're doing. But we're talking about people here who actually are. Look, I've tried everything. My sales are slow. That's one option, like Norman said, that you can do that I've done that definitely does work. Guy Guru sold a Nikon, it's probably Nikon Coolpix yesterday for $200. Awesome. Maya says, can I recommend everyone having slow sales should try cross listing? Started posting a lot of my trendier items to Depop and made 4 sales already in the past 2 weeks. One thing you can do, of course, Bonanza. We haven't had a Bonanza sale in a month, but still, we've had like 6 or 7. Huh?
Have you checked?
Oh, I checked today. But we had 5 or 6 extra sales that we may not have had normally. Now I can say it's been a lot more than that with Poshmark, a lot more than that on Mercari. And you start adding up, okay, I got 10 sales here, 10 sales there, 10 sales here. And now it's like, wow, that's like 20, 30 extra sales that I wouldn't have had if I just kept everything under eBay's umbrella. One strategy I like to use, because I think a lot of you are like, well, I don't want to put something up on another site and then have it sell in both places. Well, the strategy there is, okay, so you list an item, you let it sit on sale on eBay for 30 days. And after 30 days, you go in and you cross post that over to these other sites. It ain't like that item has had a lot of hot demand, right? Where that's a big worry. And chances are very slim that an item that you've had for 30 days on eBay and put now on the other sites are going to just boom, boom sell. And yeah, you do have to be on top of it. If you get a notification, so you should have your phone set up with these apps like Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, And when you do get a sale, you get a notification. That's your cue to, if you can stop what you're doing, stop what you're doing and get it off these other sites. That way you're not running into a double sale situation. Um, let's see. Norman says, sorry, I meant to say that eBay asked me to be an interview as to why I opted out of the international shipping. This Thursday will be interviewed. Please let them know exactly why you opted out and what's worked for you. Because I would look, I'd like nothing more than to have that fixed. I want to be able to. I do have international shipping set up for a lot of my listings, but that's not through eBay. That's eBay will say the buyer they use calculated international priority shipping, and then I'll go in and I'll go to Pirate Ship and run the label and ship it directly to the buyer myself. I'd rather use eBay's international because you're not shipping it internationally anymore, and I do like the protections that they have in place if a buyer wants to return the item. I really think those are great things, but their implementation is lacking. It's again, we are beta testers, guys. I hate to say it, but that's just the reality.
Yeah.
We are beta testing these new features, and I'm not all that interested in beta testing this one. Tommy says fake sale doesn't affect search at all. Actually, price affects search. Price is still high. It's still high. Yeah, but once they see your item, I think it's psychological. Like, wow, 40% off. They're really, and maybe that Jedi mind trick works on some buyers and not others. But if it works on 10 to 20% of the buying population to click on my listing at least to get me a page view and a chance to get that sale, then I think there is something there. Westlake Market says, where is the link for excluding specific countries? They say they moved it from shipping preferences to buyer restrictions, but I don't see it. Okay, you have to go into your individual listing policy. So, like, I have a listing policy set up for free shipping, which I don't use a whole lot, but I have a separate policy set up for $5.99 shipping for 8 ounces or less. I have another shipping policy set up for $7.99 for up to 1 pound USPS first class. I have calculated rates for the larger packages, and so you want to go under your business policies and go under your shipping policies individually. And at the bottom, under where the international says international shipping, where you click on that drop down, it'll show excluded shipping locations. Like for instance, if you're shipping by UPS, you've got to make sure your PO boxes are turned off. Make sure you're excluding that. Click the box because you cannot ship UPS packages to a PO box. Okay, if you're dealing with Guam or dealing with Hawaii or Alaska, like UPS ground is not going to be an option for you. So if that's your shipping policy, make sure those are excluded. But within that same area, you can exclude continents, or you can kind of drill down to the countries within those continents that you can exclude from shipping to. JRKR says, so if we want to be in eBay's international shipping, we go in and put no international shipping for our policies. Yes, as backwards as that sounds.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
There's two ways to ship internationally on eBay. One is on your own by telling your policy that you ship internationally, and within each individual policy, you have it set up whether it's calculated, flat rate, whatever you want to do, right? But once you have that in place for your policies, it turns off their opt-in. It's like being opted out. It's crazy. And if you are opted in and want to use eBay's new process, you got to make sure your business shipping policies or your shipping policies do not conflict with opt-out. So you got to turn off all your international shipping within each individual shipping policy for the opt-in to take effect, if that makes sense. But once I did that, it killed my sale. So just be mindful of that. Make the change if you want to open up your stuff to international through eBay's international, but take time the first 24 hours. If your sales are not normal, then it could be because you're affected like Norman was and the way I was. And I'm going to wait until I do not hear any more people complaining about that before I switch back over. Backyard Mowing says, I assume a ton of people have opted out since the director of the program is cold emailing sellers. I haven't seen that.
I don't think you will.
Yeah, they're looking for ways to opt me out of eBay. They're not looking for ways to get these listings to other countries. That's for sure. I can assure you that this channel is big enough by now. I think I would have heard from someone from eBay to say, hey, like there's other channels that are about this size that have been in contact with eBay and just to promote their product. But I'm very honest about what I see, and eBay has good things going on. The traffic is still there, right? That's what keeps me on the site. But the way they treat sellers as their personal beta testers, and denying up until recently, the last holiday we had, Memorial Day, when they were removing listings or actually putting listings back into your store that had already sold, and saying, "Oh, we're going to cover your defects and your fees and this, that, and the other thing." I mean, before that, this has been going on for a long time. They've been denying that for the whole way, and putting sellers in bad situations. And I'm going to speak my mind. Unfortunately, eBay doesn't like that. That stranger says it was a good sales weekend for me. Best one was $300 for a Barbie doll. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome. Now that must be a pretty old Barbie doll.
Yeah.
We did come across some vintage ones that lady had, and they weren't really more than like $20. Art's in the house. Thanks for being here. We have Bonnie Brink. Uh,
Gardening.
Gardening Sis was watching another YouTuber the other day, and I grinned. They gave you a shout out for taking the time to research the information put out by eBay. Yeah, I got to think there's a lot of really good people that have YouTube channels. Kevin, Commonwealth Picker, that guy's a genuine guy, and you see his videos and you kind of wonder, because never met the guy, like he seems like a good guy, but when you finally get to meet someone like Kevin, you see how genuine they are. And there's a lot of folks like that that have channels. I don't want to say the one or two or three channels that I see that are just in it for the money and the views and not for the help of the people. I think that more, just like your buyers, you got bad buyers who have bad intentions. You got YouTubers that don't have the best intentions. Unfortunately, it starts out that way, and it kind of evolves into having bad intentions and more selfish intentions than intentions for the viewer. And I hate seeing that, but I guess it's up to every viewer to realize. But just it's a thing out there. There's good people out there, and there's a very small percentage that are not, unfortunately. Rebecca Mitchell says, I've noticed that the more items in your store, the more sellers change and get it. The more items you have in your store, or the more sellers charge, okay, and get it. Yeah, I mean, the more items in your store, I think a lot of it, and I really think that the higher sell-through rate your store has, when we look at our metrics, you see that maybe it's 1.2%, maybe it's, I think, 2% is where we're at in the main store. And like I said, we don't have the greatest items, but we're getting a lot of sales regardless. And I think there's a lot to having a higher sell-through rate as a store. And of course, the more items in your store, the more people charge. I guess it just depends on what it is, but larger stores aren't necessarily the way to go. I don't think. I just my personal opinion. Leonard says it was divorced Barbie. She has all of her Ken's cars and houses for the $300 Barbie. You got half, huh? Tommy Bernard says sales are great. Best advice ever. If a YouTuber is steadily crying about slow sales, unsubscribe because you do not want their advice on anything.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you stuck with me, Tommy, because I actually last year I did a lot of that, and
There was a lot of crying last year.
yeah, and it's I don't have all the answers. That's another thing. I mean, I think there's some truth to what he said. If a YouTuber is saying, "Hey, look, guys, I can't even help myself. How can I help you?" There's a lot to that. But on the other flip side of the coin, if you get someone that says, "I don't care what you do, this is how you sell on eBay, and if you're not doing what I do, the way I do it, and join my program, you're going to fail." And this is why sellers, this is the name of your title every video. This is why sellers fail. 10 reasons why sellers are going to quit. 10 reasons why sellers are, not in the top 90% of some. It's like ridiculous. So, you can tell by that as well that you don't want to be on that channel. Um, you know, I've got some good sourcing going on. I didn't have that last year. That was holding me back. That didn't necessarily mean that I didn't know what I was talking about because I do dive a lot into these policies. But uh, I just think not every person. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that are just right now just struggling. Let's just be real about it. And unfortunately, they're putting a smiley face on it, maybe not talking about it. That's the only reason why you don't see it. I think it's always good to maybe follow somebody. They might be struggling like you, but at least they're honest about it and they're willing to put that out there and to say, here's, I'm struggling, guys, and this is what I'm doing to try to get through it. And to watch them get through it is going to give you a lot of valid information. And maybe at some point, your sourcing is going to dry up. Maybe the place you went all these years is not there anymore. You're going to have to figure it out. And I think there's nothing wrong with content showing that there's real struggles in this business. I think it's the ones you gotta watch out for are the ones who try to put a happy face or put a lipstick on a pig and make everything look like they're making millions of dollars because that ain't happening in this business, that's for sure. Dean Funderburk says, "Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here, Dean." Um, let's see. Biff says, "John, did you see anyone interesting at the tournament?" You know what? There's such a sea of people. I mean,
Yeah,
we're talking
there's
thousands of
thousands.
people, and I do see different poker players there. I know Daniel Negreanu had made it on an earlier flight to the Sunday, and that's another thing I wanted to do. I wanted to make it on Sunday to have a chance to play with Daniel. That's kind of cool, right? But it isn't like I've played in World Series events before where I played with the big pros. It just, I'm not in the business of this is only a $300 buy-in tournament. Uh, you know, a lot of those tournaments are in the thousands of dollars, and I'm a YouTuber that happens to sell stuff on eBay or an eBayer that happens to have a YouTube channel, whatever you want to say. But I ain't making that kind of money, that's for sure. So, um, yeah, I'm just a peon when it
And
comes to
don't
those
a lot
people.
of people get sponsored?
A lot of those pros are sponsored. They get free entries from their sponsors. They wear their little company logo for playing. And a lot of those pros, believe it or not, they're broke. There are a lot of people that are backing them, like, hey, you want to play? I'll give you. There's games that are online you can watch. They're $1 million buy-ins, but trust me, a lot of that money is back from other people. It's not their money. Um, let's see. Kimberly Sweet says, I had my shipping set to 48 states. I got an order from Hawaii, discovered eBay, turned on my international shipping. I finally figured out how to shut it off, but shipping to Hawaii was five more bucks, it sounds like. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more to Hawaii. Like the larger items, if it's over a couple pounds, it's really going to start adding up. That's why I don't mind the idea of calculated shipping rates because you're going to be protected there. If you have the proper weight and dimensions in your listing, add a dollar to it. That's what I do for handling because those materials, the boxes aren't free, the poly bags aren't free, the bubble wrap ain't free, the tape ain't free, um, and that helps you pay and offset those costs. So something to consider if you're not using calculator. We have Russ Ehlers. Hope I'm saying that right. Welcome, Russ, from Tig Treasure, Wisconsin. That's awesome. Is that a uh, eBay store? Or is that your own shop? But thank you for being here, Russ. I appreciate you. Uh, John, I think you're a great master debater. Well, thank you, Noah Design. That's really awesome of you.
Something's going on with this stream.
Something's going on with the stream.
We're freezing. Well, we were.
Okay, don't freeze. Sorry if we're freezing. We're going to power through it. I promise you that.
Well, you're not even 30.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Ed says, I need to make these clickbait videos. I need the views and subscribers. LOL, JK. That's why I haven't made any videos. Nothing for me to talk about. That is the toughest part about having a YouTube channel is the content. What am I going to talk about? I don't want. There's many videos I could probably maybe rehash what I said 2 years ago. But anyone that's been with the channel, like, oh, you already talked about that. But the more and more I look, it's the more and more that people continue to talk about the same things over and over again. So maybe that's the way to go. But yeah, that is the toughest thing. I look at my channel as, what I want to watch this, on a daily basis. And I got to say, even being honest with you, I wouldn't subscribe to my channel if all I did was say the same thing all the time. So it's very important to me.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
You do have
Yeah, but you know what?
Repeating
I
yourself.
I know I do that on the live streams too, but um, maybe that's why YouTube won't let me subscribe to my own channel. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's not a thing. You can't do it. Turn and Burn, Ohio says, "Hi, John and Seven Jenna." I probably meant Aunt Jenna, but thanks for being here. Turn and Burn, Ohio.
Burn.
Uh, Chris says, "I sold Barbies as a favor. Sold about 20. Price 5 to 75. Not worth it to me." Yeah, it really isn't. Even some of the ones that we were looking at that were, quote unquote vintage from like the 90s, they still weren't all that much, like 20 or 30, and that's still in the box too. I'm gonna catch up, I swear. Thrift Gorilla says, "I've overlisted these last few weeks, but it paid off last month. This month is hit and miss. Have an abusive buyer to deal with. Have to exercise my refund tool." Yeah, do it. You do have those protections, quote unquote protections, and if the situation's warranted, use it. If a partial refund's in order, then it's an order, right? Just make sure you can justify it through photos and just making a good case as to why you didn't give them a full refund. That stranger says, "I wouldn't have searched for the Barbie, but someone gave them to me years ago. They sat in a closet since. I guess the celebrity ones are limited edition and get more. They say black label." Okay. So that's something to look for as black label Barbies. I'm not sure if they make those anymore, but that's probably why it's worth so much. Uh, but Thrift Gorilla says, "First return of the year." If that's your first return of the year and you've been making sales, then you're doing really good. Maya says, "Question, is it worse for the algorithm on eBay to decline or ignore offers? If I get an offer from someone who has crazy feedback left for sellers, I decline. Would it be better to let it expire?" No, I think letting it expire is the worst thing to do because I think that eBay is looking at how fast you interact whenever there's a request and or a message. And I think these all are affected in account health. No matter what anyone tells me, there's a lot of people that say that's not a thing. eBay doesn't care how fast you reply to a comment or an offer or this, that, and other thing. But why does Mercari have? Why does Mercari give you a badge for being a fast responder? If something like Mercari is keeping track, if eBay has come out and said, "Hey, we're not going to show your personal information in a listing unless you are fast to respond to buyers," which they haven't updated on, by the way. I have no information on that, but they said it back about a year ago that was going to, well, not even a year ago, but months ago, that was possibly going to happen. Well, then they're keeping track of some of that stuff. And to me, the faster you can respond to anything that comes across from eBay, a return request, a question, or in this case, an offer, I just think it's the better it's going to be. And it's not a huge deal, guys. It's small. Like, it's all cumulative. It's like how fast do you respond to your customer? What's the quality of your listings? What does your other account health look like? That all falls within account health. I'm a firm believer of that. And until someone from eBay comes out and tells me that's not a thing, in my mind, it's a thing. So make sure as far as declining, I don't necessarily, a lot of people hypothesize that declining offers hurt you. I don't necessarily think that's going to hurt you. I don't do it. I look at it as an option an opportunity to tell them, here's where I stand. Maybe that person is actually interested, but they're just trying to get the lowest price because it worked last time. I'm going to throw them a counter every time until they strike out. They get three offers before I decline. Manar Adley says, "Hi, John. Have no sales problem. I made promotions, send offers."
I have the no sales problem.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Hooked on Phonics wins again. "Hi, John. I have the no sales problem. I made promotions, send offers, but no results. What what else can I do?" You can do a number of things. Of course, if you have a store, it sounds like you made promotions. So you have your markdown sale, your coupon. Promotion has a lot to do with it. Cross posting can also move some of that stock because you could be up. The item you're selling could have a lot of drop shippers that are selling the same item, right? And you're stuck in a sea of listings. If you go in, one thing that I've told people to do is go in, look at what your competition is doing. Who is your competition? Trust me, Walmart knows who their competition is. Um, you know, Successful businesses know who they're up against. They study their competition. Yet I think a lot of resellers just think that we're not competing with anyone. We're just at eBay's mercy. The truth is, we are competing with other sellers who are selling the same items. See what if they other people have sold these same items. Look at their listings. Try to emulate what they've done. Take a closer look at your title, your photos, all the key things we talk about. And at the end of the day, if you've done everything like that, maybe you just need to sell something different. Maybe you need to find something that's what we had to do. We were scratching our heads for months back in 2002, and until early this year, we made a change. We made a change to sell stuff. I didn't want to sell it all, but you know what? I was at that point where I had to try something different, and it worked. So you just keep constantly making changes until finally you just sell something else. Mary O says, have a high dollar item to sell over 2,500. Will probably go to authentication, so I'm nervous to list. Well, the alternative is
I would list it.
of course, the alternative is to list it locally. You're not going to make nearly as much. I would. How much were you into it for? I mean, if you're into it for thousands, not it's probably not likely. But if you're into it for a much lower amount, then get it listed, get it sold, and otherwise sell it locally if you're worried about it. Um, I if I had something $2,500 value to sell, it would be up already. Those are opportunities to make money, and the bad buyers are going to be out there, but they're a very very small percentage of your sales.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Thomas says, yeah, every couple weeks I'll crash hard for 24 hours and feel like I can do it again the next day.
Mhm.
I wanted to just crash yesterday, but I saw the zero sales that were happening, and I didn't want to just. Well, I guess I'll just sleep in. If sales were great, I guess I would have taken a different stance and just relaxed. But that's not who I am. That's for sure. Dean says, actually, what sells better than the Barbie are the Barbie clothes. Maybe I have the accessory, the 4-pack accessories, like for Barbies. There's like 4 different packs, and they're like shoes and purses and stuff. I think I have that for like $14 ship. But we got that in like a large liquidation pallet. I have like 30 sets of those that are up for sale. Rosie's here. Hi, John and Jenna. I hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, looking at it, I'm sure others had worse. I think the weekend was fine. Just going to move on, and one bad day is not going to change how I look at the weekend. Nick Pickard says audio very choppy. I'm sorry about that.
That was at 3:30.
I know, but if it is, I know, but it could still be. You just never know. You said 5 minutes ago that it was kind of messed up.
Well, because I saw us frozen.
William Poland's in the house. Have you ever sold an item and the UPS returns it back as they claim they could not deliver it due to failed attempts? You get the item back to your porch and the customer pays shipping again. Yeah, had to have that happen before. One person was like, "I don't understand. It's not anything. We get deliveries all the time, but at the end of the day, did everything you're supposed to do as a seller. If they're not willing to pay for shipping again, just refund them less the original cost of the shipping." Uh, Gail Carlson says Temu comes from Japan, or Temu comes from Japan. Yes, you have to watch your order. Some of the stuff I ordered was good, and some not so good. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not again for me. Dave Philman says, "Hey guys, yay, my sales are a little slow too, but I'm still busy. I use the time to inventory check my store." Yeah, it's you got to take time. You just can't say I listed the item and it's everything else is fine. It may not be fine. There's been times I've discovered stuff that I thought should have sold. It's not even the right category. So, there's always something that could be preventing you from getting the sale. Turn and Burn says, none of YouTubers ever talk about real marketing. You need to list your item in 3 to 4 different categories, each listing different keywords and different main images, and promote 10 times or 10% or higher. I definitely think that you see a lot of people, they like to stick around at 2%. Like, I'm promoting. I don't know why I'm not getting sales. Well, what are you promoting at? 2%. Well, so is like 80% of the other people that are promoting. You got to be able to get out of that, separate yourself from the competition. That's what sales is. Sales is separating yourself from the competition. And to be stuck with the competition saying, 2%, I'm fine. Well, if your sales aren't fine, that might be the reason. Uh, Devin says, agree, John. You can get in front of your sales. Yes. Yes, for sure. Sherman says, get ready for a boost of sales with all the graduation money burning a hole in kids' pockets. There we go.
Yeah,
All
this
those
that
eBay.
generation doesn't even know what eBay is, or they think it's just for old folks.
But for a graduation gift, if they have that eBay gift card that's in that card, they get congratulations for graduating. We're going to get a lot of sales because of this graduation. Um, Nick says weekend sales are surprisingly very good. That's usually when sales are the best for us, usually the weekend. But we've had steady sales throughout the week as well. Jerry's in the house. Thanks for being here. Ernie says, which category doesn't experience summer slowdown? Maybe summer-related outdoors items, that type of thing. I think uh, you wouldn't get a slowdown like golf equipment, things like that. I know that that tends to slow down like August, September when the weather starts getting poor. Because there's people out there that are bad golfers that like to snap their putter in half. And they have to buy a new putter so they can play again. Dave Philman says landscapers, for example, don't worry about down days of bad weather. They work on equipment until things are good again. Same with my store. Yeah, I agree. PG says I use calculated shipping since I'm in California. I used to charge a 50-cent handling fee, but recently eliminated that charge since I do charge the counter rate to buyers. Or the retail rate to buyers. So eBay gives you the option to go in and say, I want to pass on my top rated seller discount, the one that we are given when we're running our labels. You could pass that on to your buyer, or you can charge them the full rate. I just think that I would rather charge the same price that I'm paying for the label, and then charge $1 additional, to offset the fees against that, and whatever's left over for supplies. Because I think that if two buyers are looking at two different items, they see that Ping is, their shipping is a full retail rate at 12. I would say 20. Mine's at 12 because I have the discounted rate. There's a chance that they're going to come back and buy my item. That's the way I kind of look at it. We are catching up though. That's good.
You're scrolling for like a mile.
But we're catching up. I promise. Tommy says the problem is viewers don't know how to vet YouTubers. A very small percentage live solely off reselling, then they blindly follow and fail. Yeah. And look, there's nothing wrong with watching a wide range of YouTubers because they're each going to have a different perspective. We all have a different perspective as sellers. Some of us sell the same kind of item maybe that a particular YouTuber sells. Uh, we're going to maybe get more information from that particular seller. But all I'm saying is, just if the seller doesn't have your best interest in mind, it's going to be obvious. And you might want to be careful when you see that person. Sherman says, haven't had a hamburger in a few years, but I'm dying for a while. A White Castle murder burger onion sandwich. I heard they add pink slime to ground beef, even in supermarkets.
Oh God!
Wow. Well, I could tell you, I had that craving when I went to the Kentucky Derby back in 2017. A friend of mine and I, we flew out there, and I'm like, oh, White Castle. And after the first bite, I'm like, why did we go here? It just overplayed. Sarah says the director of international shipping reached out and asked why I opted out from it and what they can do to help. I'd love to know what you told them and what their reaction was if you opted out due to the sales falling. Dean says, what size eBay store do you guys have and why? I don't have the names off the top of my head. I think we pay $21.95 for the secondary store. That's the one that gives you 1,000 listings or 10,000. No, that's 1,000 listings, and that works for us. We only have 600 something items in that store. Uh, it allows me to have the markdown sale and coupons. Don't need anything else. Oddly enough, I pay like $60 a month for the next level up, which gives you 10,000 listings because I love to do the end item sell similar. And if I did that for the 1,000 item store, even with 250 items in my store, then I would start running into overages where I'm paying. I don't know. It just maybe kind of dumb of me, but at some point, I think we're gonna have more than 250 items in this particular store. It's just gonna grow over time. But just right now, my listings and my sales have been kind of the same lately. Tommy says number of listings is irrelevant, means nothing. Look at all the big YouTubers with thousands of listings crying daily about sales. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just think that a lot of times, if you're selling like for instance, if all we had was our secondary store, if that's all we had for
Oh,
sale, we'd
you
have
wouldn't
to,
see us here. We'd be working jobs.
no, we'd have to have thousands upon thousands. You got to be real about what you're selling. If you have the kind of stuff I'm picking up in my main store, if you have the kind of stuff that Tommy's picking up in his store, you don't need huge stores. You're going to get enough sales. We're talking anywhere from $500 to $1,000 days just by having a store that's under 500 items. And no one designed. All they got out of this video was my giggle without Jenna here, so that's pretty cool. Glad to help. Glad to help. Hopefully that's what you're looking for, is that giggle. David Lindsay says, I'm being bombarded with abusive buyers that think their bogus complaint coupons can be traded in for my hard-earned money. I have 11 scam buyers right now, and I'm only at my breaking point. Wow. That's no good.
How do you know they're all scam buyers? What
Well,
makes them scam?
yeah, I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah.
Devon says, I used to have a store with 900 items. Now I have more expensive items and have 275.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we did. We actually had it was almost exactly the same. I was like, oh, almost at 1,000. But is that an accomplishment? I don't think so. Is it an accomplishment to have tens of thousands of items in your store and you're only making $1,000? Maybe you're only making $500, whatever. I don't necessarily think that's an accomplishment. I think it's a lot of inventory that you're going to have to deal with. And if eBay does things like delist your items or list items that you've already sold, can you imagine that nightmare with all those items? Not dogging anyone who has a lot of stuff in their store. That is a strategy, and it is a strategy and a business model that works, but it's just not for me. And as long as I can find stuff with higher ASP and keep only 200 to 500 items in my store, then that's the model I'm going to follow. That's just my preferred way to make it work. Ferret fan says, I just got out of the bin store and I'm listening as I head home. Had to hire a rotor outer to have.
I
Is
think
like
it's rotor.
is that like rotor? No, there's no rooter there. It might be a name of a company. Rotor outer to have a sewer main clog cleared out this morning. Can't take a day off though. Feels like a real job today. Yeah, some days are like that. You just don't have enough time in a day to get the things you want done. Henry Squad got the cha-ching from hitting the like button. So, guys, we have 170-ish people right now watching. That's really awesome. Do me a favor, hit the like button and get your cha-ching. Christine Moses says, I can't remember the last time I had a multi-listing with similar items with the variants, color, etc. I would not get the listing to work. I called eBay and they said it must be a glitch. Who else? Well, hopefully someone else can answer that for you because I don't have any variation listings.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Let's see if I can get through. Dissatisfied customer. You hate YouTube so much. All you give always on here are for old garbage. That's odd. You hate YouTube so much.
Tina already got rid.
All you give always on here are for old garbage. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're the name says it all. You're dissatisfied. And why not be dissatisfied with the free content that we give you guys? Hopefully, and well, thankfully, that's not the what everyone else feels. So you do, and that's the funny thing. It's like if you don't like the content, why are you watching?
Because they're just you're giving them attention.
I took them off the screen, but it just amazes. If you're not trying to troll, and that's really how you feel, why do you watch?
That's all they're there for.
John Gaynor says, hi, Jen and John. What point do you think about putting an item on sale for reducing the price and for giving free shipping to move items that are not selling? So, after a while, you keep saying the same item over and over again, and you just keep doing little things to tweak, like the entire second store. We have free shipping now. Well, except for 2 items or larger items, but not free shipping, free returns. We weren't doing free returns before. Not free shipping. We're doing free returns. We haven't gotten to the free shipping part yet. So that's our model to maybe get a little boost in the algorithm.
Yeah.
Maybe someone's.
Yeah. I'm taking a shower, okay? And he comes in and he says, "Hey, can I do an experiment on your store?" And I'm like, what kind of experiment? And so he begins to tell me free returns. And I was like, okay, I guess. I
Yeah, why
mean,
not?
we do a lot of experimenting on that store. So I'm like, okay, well, good thing he told me because I would have seen that and gotten irate.
But there's nothing wrong with some trial and error when things
Right.
aren't going the way you want them to. So that's kind of what that's about. Kimberly says, not necessarily the graduation ceremony that gets in the way. It's the graduation party. Day for the party, day to straighten up. LOL. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I just don't think it's a phenomenon where it's like, okay, no one's on eBay right now. It's just one of those things. Tommy says, if you think the economy is bad or eBay is broke, list an iPhone or an Apple product. Bet the economy isn't bad for that item.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Luba says, hello everyone. Got an offer today on the item that was active bid $20 higher than the offer. When I told buyer that he wished me luck selling, but he will pass. Yeah, why would someone give you an offer $20 higher than what you're selling it for? It doesn't make sense.
That does seem shady.
Look at this idiot here. Sorry, gotta help people get off the channel that are saying rude things.
Kina already got
I
rid of
know.
them.
Sandra got my sale. Hit the like button.
Woo-hoo!
Thanks for doing that. That's awesome. Devon says, I've had buyers on their profile that they are out of the country, and they'll tell me they're not.
Yeah, we've had that.
Yeah. Lisa K says, I remember when cross-posting would get you suspended from eBay. If you sold on their site, you could not have the same item for sale publicly anywhere else. It was a public policy then, or was a policy back then. That's interesting. But see, I don't know how legally they can say, you can sell on eBay, but you can't sell that item anywhere else. There's reasons why. See, whatever policies are implemented, they aren't usually implemented like on a whim. They usually go through that company's law department, and the law department has to go through and make sure that whatever they're trying to implement is legal. And I'm sure that's why it's no longer there, because it's may have been challenged. That can't be a legal thing. Let's see. AKA P says, pay attention to orders that get canceled due to non-payment. The items are not being relisted automatically. Already ran into that. Yeah, that was a thing that was going on a couple weeks ago. Really, it's been going on for a long time, but eBay only admitted
every once in a while, but there was time where it was happening a lot.
Bill Hess maintains 8 to 12,000 a month with less than 300 items. A lot of times, I'm between 2 and 250. Yeah, it's and some people. I had someone go, only 250 items, huh? And like I was like lying or something about it. It's certainly possible. You just have to have higher ASP items. It just makes sense, and you're constantly adding more inventory.
Right.
Let's see. Tommy says almost every item in my store has 100 to 500% sell-through rate. Still promote heavily for sponsored sales on and off platform. There you go. So Silvadell Shaladin says, my main worry currently is that the USPS first class change will make packages handled worse. The idea of a 70-pound package on top of a 6-ounce package is scary. Yeah. And it just may be that you're going to have to package these items a little differently, a little bit more reinforced. But yeah, that is a concern. And hopefully they maybe plan on putting the larger items like maybe in one area. I mean, that's just hopeful thinking that USPS will think that far, and as far as trying to protect our items. But maybe if they get enough claims, damaged item claims, will change the way they handle it. Tommy says, I stuck with John because he's a reseller first. I could see the pain he had over slow sales and he wanted to fix it. Took advice from lots of people. Now he's back on track.
That's right.
And I got to say, Tommy's been one of the ones that was there to give me advice and give me some help. And look, I'm not above and beyond taking help from somebody. I'm not above and beyond saying, you know what, I was wrong. I handled it wrong. And all I can say is that what we're doing right now is working. Now, is it something that's going to work for everyone? Maybe not. But you never know until you get out there and try. And I guess the biggest takeaway from this entire live stream, if there is one, is, well, number one, I don't think graduations are killing your sales. But number two, um, you know, you got to make changes, guys. You got to make changes. Be willing to. I think a lot of us are like, well, this worked before, but that doesn't mean it's going to work now. So just, be willing to make changes. And thanks to Tommy and other people, Knowing Design, and there's a bunch of others who've reached out, given me advice, and I appreciate you
I
guys
mean,
for it.
everybody in our lives, and I don't mean our lives, these live
Streams.
videos.
Yeah.
Everybody contributes, and everybody, we'll take a nugget from somebody every single time.
Yeah.
Everybody has, an idea, or hey, why don't you try this? Or hey, step out of your comfort zones and go to the yard sales. And a lot of people have a lot of good information, and it's all you accumulate, you take in what you can work into your business. And if it works, great, keep doing it. If it doesn't, throw it away.
Yeah. But I'm piggybacking off of that. Not only do I want you guys to do me a favor, hit the like button, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you like the content, you enjoy the lives, please consider doing so. We are getting close to 20,000 subscribers, and we want to do something a little special. We haven't really announced what we're going to do. It's probably going to be on a live coming up here, but very close to that 20,000 mark, and it's just one of those intermittent goals of mine. And if you guys can help me with that, I'd certainly appreciate it. We've got
good things coming to the channel.
Thrift Gorilla says, I've had people send me lowball offers. I counter with an offer, let them know this is the least I can do. Then I get a counter offer even lower, denied and blocked. Yeah. If they can't read, then, and I have that a lot too. I tell them this is where I'm at. And I'll also tell them in that first reply that I don't play the haggle game that some sellers play. And this is the best I'm going to do. And a lot of times they'll agree, or they'll decline it. Tommy says, I'm one of the people that believes eBay doesn't monitor response time and messaging. 92 unread messages this week so far, not responded to. One, sales are up each month, but I suck at customer service. But I think, Tommy, that's a very small part of your account health. And if you're selling great items, if you're selling high demand items, there's a lot of things that you don't have to do that's not going to affect you negatively, because the demand is going to, I mean, it's like, have you ever looked at a large store or a store on eBay and go, wow, these people have a lot of negative feedback, but you look at their sales and they're just killing it. Because the value that they're giving the buyers are willing to overlook that, and eBay is willing to overlook that and to give you those the traffic and the sales. Turner Burns says, hey, John, try these ads for your baseball display case. MLB, baseball, PGA, golf, NHL, hockey, tennis, ball display case. List them in 4 different categories with MLB, golf, hockey, and tennis. That's something to consider. I can tell you the changes I made yesterday, we've already moved 6 cases in a little over a day. So I'm going to see what this does as I get more solds on this listing. eBay is going to be willing to promote the listing a little bit better, because listing that has more sales linked to it, like on I have 100 items, 100 of these cases behind me in one listing. As I get through like 10 to 20 of those sold, I'm sure that I'm going to get a little bit more love from eBay higher up. Kimberly Sweet, what are your thoughts on items you see listed for thousands of dollars, like Beanie Babies? Is there a large amount of money laundering going on? I think that's what it is, because I see Beanie Babies all the time, like the McDonald's ones.
Aren't even worth anything anymore.
Yeah.
That we have found.
Yeah. I fell for that once. $3 for a big tub of them. I'm like, oh, yeah. No.
And I looked at him like, are
you guys looked at me like I was a weirdo and told me otherwise. But that's what happens when you sell different things that you've never come across before. You're going to make, it was a $3 mistake. I think I gave that to Mike in Utah when he came out, picked up those items. Charlotte Nichols says, what's the difference between eBay and eBay Motors? Last time I tried to list brake pads and rotors will not let me list. I have an eBay store, and years ago I was able to sell auto parts. You can. It's just a different category, and it's just labeled. It's all the same. Like, I just literally listed the item that caused me to be late for the program. I was listing some new car mats for a Mazda CX-5 2017 to 2023. I picked them all up for $1, guys, $1, and selling them for like I think like $70. And I have them as used only because these are returns, and it looked like someone bought it, maybe bought it for the wrong car and sent it back. But because it didn't have all the new fancy internal packaging, I just listed it as used for like $50 plus shipping. But $1, I've got a lot of room to work with on that. Um, so let's see. Bill Hess says 100%. I'll try to make my listings like candy, and educating your buyers has been good for me too. Just know what you're selling. You sound like an expert. That helps too. Well, I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I want to sound like I also don't know everything. And that is the last thing you really want to portray is like, yeah, I'm never wrong. I'm always doing it right, which is, I mean, there's channels out there that'll make you feel like, wow, I have all this stuff in the world. I have all these possessions because I'm such a great eBay seller. And I think it's just, you know, unnecessary. Don't have to be that way. Junk Trader says, hi, Roman. Hi, Todd. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for saying hi to me, but it's okay. Charlotte says, thank you, Ping. I'm getting to some sidebar combos.
Yes,
So
you are.
Haas Cartwright says, I sell surgical items and have consistent sales up into the last 3 weeks. I will admit I haven't posted in a month until today. I have no sales yet. I think after a while of no listing, it does catch up to you. That's probably part of the other account having slow sales this last weekend for us. Moon Mug says they also can't just remove items on a whim due to some marketplace law.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, how are they?
Well, like eBay, I think they can remove whatever they want. I think it's in their terms of service that they have the right to remove whatever listing or not show your listing for whatever reason. I think that's a little different, and because that's in their you're playing in their sandbox. That but they just can't tell you can't sell on another site. You can't sell this same item on Mercari. They just can't do that. Getting kind of through this, but we got Silver Hair Stacker in the house. Thanks for being here. I'm just kind of going through this here, but I'm seeing a lot of sidebar conversation, which I'm cool with, but it kind of confuses me sometimes. No One Design 2 says, I got some wise words for you, John. Truth hurts, maybe not as much as jumping on a bicycle with the seat missing, but it hurts.
Yes, this is true.
But some people actually sign up for the latter, so that's all I'll say about that. I'm not that guy though. Thrift alcohol. Okay, thriftaholic for you all sorts. I swear that's one of the names I get caught up on.
And they're gonna keep that name just.
I like the video of a YouTuber that said he had $3 million worth of inventory to sell on whatnot this week. Not naming any names, but who buys into this type of talk?
Yeah, it's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, I guess if you do this to make yourself feel better about yourself, I don't know. But look, there's been many times I felt bad about, making a video and I was wrong about something. I felt really bad. One time we took the video down, of course, it was something, a glitch that eBay fixed, but sometimes I'm wrong and I'm not afraid to admit it. Just, I can't imagine ever being that person that's trying to make myself look like something I'm not. That's horrible. Turner Burns says parts new and used are the best business. Never have slow sales. Cars, motorcycle, ATV, dirt bikes, lawnmowers, and plumbing parts are more best-selling categories. I have car parts. They do well. Motorcycle parts as well. Works out well for us.
Motorcycle parts sell probably more than even car parts.
Yeah, we do pretty well with those kind of parts, and people aren't sourcing them, so they're fairly easy to get. Seeing a lot of.
They're laughing at you.
I know. Thomas, you're 100% correct, Todd, but reseller core math is different than actual math. Yeah. Picky Ricky's, you're only saying.
No One Decides, and just call him a drunk John. Easy.
Yeah. Picky Ricky says you're only seeing. I'm clicking around now. You're only seeing it as an individual silver. You get 1,000% sell through when you combine all sellers. So I think we're very, very close to the end here.
Mhm.
But it was a really good conversation, I think. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for hanging with us today. Um, you know, it's this whole topic of slow sales. I'm sure that this isn't the first time, well, this isn't going to be the last time that I talk about this subject. But if we're blaming it on something out of our control, that's when there's a problem. Yeah, we got to deal with eBay. We got to deal with glitches. We got to deal with people going to graduations, I guess. We got to deal with stuff out of our control. But what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to sit back and let that be your reason? Is that going to be what stops you from listening? For me, it's going to be what gets me listing even more. Yeah, I had a bad sales day yesterday. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to blame it on anything. And I was thinking at the time, yeah, there's probably something going on with eBay. But you know what? I'm not going to go and call eBay. Don't do that, guys. Don't call eBay when you have a bad sales day. I'm not going to search for reasons on YouTube. Did anyone else have a slow sales day? I'm going to just keep listing and I'm going to do things to my account, to my listings that I maybe never considered doing before, like free returns on one account, um, and maybe changing the way I do markdown sales to try to do to make sales. And guess what? Within literally an hour after making those changes, both accounts started getting sales. And so yesterday wasn't such a loss. It was just that the end of the day, we started getting sales as a result of making those changes. So hopefully this will give you guys some ideas and to try new things, maybe try sourcing new things, try listing your things in a different way or different sites. Um, but these are all things we all have to figure out, and just more reasons why flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent start to your week, guys. Get fired up, get motivated, get those items listed, get those sales, and we will talk to you guys very soon.
See you Friday.
Take care, everyone.